So it's interesting. We talk a lot about, big floppy tires all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. But I'm a little saddened because it almost seems that it's taking the front seat away from small tire racing. And I'm curious why you're doing that to us radial tire loving people out here.
Well, I don't agree with that, but I think that...
Do you feel that at all, Sid? Is he too pro mod focused all of a sudden?
I mean, I don't think so because there's not aside from guys that are running Outlaw versus Extreme, not Outlaw versus Extreme, Radio versus Modified, not anybody that's in that league, let's say, is running small tires. Yeah. None of those cars are going to even Pro 275. So I don't think it takes away from it. I think it adds to the sport. I think it's insane to see what it's doing because it's as sad as it is to say, drag racing was dying before. And now more events. We were just talking about on the way here. It's going to be more payouts, two or three events a month in the winter. That's insane. Before it's a couple events for the whole winter.
Yeah, Bradenton from October to March, there's something going on. Yeah. Period. It's just something going on.
It makes up for this past few months that we've had because if the only thing going on at Bradenton was rain.
Yeah. Still. For sure. But to answer your question, I don't agree because by that logic, then you would say the NHRA focuses on top fuel, and nitro. And there's so much more to NHRA than that. But every event, every movie has a lead character. And you go to see Wolf on Wall Street because of Leonardo DiCaprio, but you have a great time because it's a great movie. It's not just Leonardo DiCaprio. So to me, I think we are building the events around Pro Mod being the highlight, the stars of the show. But that doesn't take away from anyone else. I mean, what those guys do on radials and small tires is absolutely insane. I would love to do separate races where we have a small tire event and then a Pro Mod event. But it's very difficult to do because we have such a small window of time that we're able to do events, at least in Bradenton. And then, if I go outside of those months, then I'm stepping on the toes of other promoters and doing events on top of theirs. And also it works really well because it's a lot of the same drivers, a lot of the same tuners, a lot of the same team owners, a lot of, all these guys, they're, let's say me and Mac travel the country, we race together and we share parts. That exists between Pro Mod, Pro 275, Radio vs. the World, LDR. There's tons of guys that have an LDR car, a Pro 275 car, and a Pro Mod, Scott Tidwell Racing that Lyle drives for. So Lyle drives NHRA Pro Mod. Ken Cartuccio drives NHRA Pro Mod. They both have Outlaw Pro Mods that they race. Scott Tidwell Racing also has, I think, 2 LDR cars, 1 Pro 275 car, or 2 Pro 275 cars.
Yeah, they're pretty stacked up.
Yeah, but these guys want to participate in the big event because it doesn't matter why the event is big. When I'm racing at, I've raced at World Cup finals in some of the lower classes. I think one year I ran 950 index when they used to have index racing. When I'm racing at World Cup finals in 950 index, if I win, I'm winning a huge event. The event's not huge because they're paying $1,500 to win 950 index or whatever it is. The event's huge because they're paying $25,000 to the pro import guy. You know what I mean? And that's why the stands are packed. But I'm okay with it. I don't care. I won World Cup finals, So I think it's about creating a big event and a big stage. And however you do that, I don't think it alienates others.
No, I don't think it alienates anyone. And that's why even there's a resurgence of Outlaw 10.5 is because of these big events where these people want to bring their Outlaw 10.5
and they want to participate. There were Outlaw 10.5 cars that were collecting dust for years, and now they want to participate. They came to World Series of Pro Mod last year, and it was, it was a ton of fun to watch. I didn't even think it was going to be as cool as it was, but watching those 10.5 cars race at World Series of Pro Mod last year was insane. There was guys doing wheelies through the 8th mile. It was sick. Yep. But
stuff you only see on old YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those guys, those cars were collecting dust. They were excited to come out and be a part of this huge event. Why was it a huge event? It was a huge event because we were paying $100,000 to win, and we had the baddest boys and girls in the world that drive Pro Mods.
And I think you're even, in an interesting spot because you're seeing some of the No Prep King guys venture out because
I think
Prep Kings is
No Prep Kings is
in the ether now.
Yeah, they're in a weird spot. They have an amazing fan base, so they still have killer events, and the stands are always packed for their events. But there's 2 things going on there. a lot of people just haven't realized it that aren't like in the know, but a No Prep Kings car is a Pro Mod with steel roof and steel quarters. Front to back.
Yep.
Same drivetrain, same suspension, same tuners, same.
So
it's a Pro Mod.
Win $100,000, you're going to bring it out.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Wherever you can go.
Well, that and they're spending. Back to what we said earlier. They're spending the same money. So when they see that we're doing this and we're racing for this much money, and that there's this opportunity to do something completely separate that doesn't overlap with their existing schedule. Some of these guys are going to build Pro Mods, and they'll buy a chassis and they'll take their drivetrain, and in the winter,
Swanstrom's a great example of that.
In the winter, Swanstrom will take his stuff out of his one car, put it in the Pro Mod car, and come out here and race with the best of the best. Because if you're a drag racer, you're just a competitive person. You want to compete with the best of the best. You want to win. You don't want to win against a guy that rented a minivan at a racetrack. Like, you want to beat the baddest dude on the property. You want to earn your win, and you want to brag about it, and you want it to be big. This is it. This is the biggest, baddest race of the year, because we get racers from PDRA, Midwest Pro Mod, NMCA, Northeast Pro Mod, like everybody in one place. NHRA Pro Mod, like all the drivers, all the baddest tuners in the world, the best of the best.
Yeah, and going back to the making the rules, like a lot of people overlook that. It's not as fun to win a class when you're racing a 12-second car in the other lane.
Yeah.
Because you're a competitor. You know what I'm saying? So you go and you have a class, like, it feels at like World Series of Pro Mod and stuff like that, it feels good to even make it in the field because it's such a tight field.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was a bunch of shit last year or the year before in the import stuff, like with Apex turbos, and it's bullshit that they outlawed them and this, that, the other. But you have a car that's going, a tenth and a half or 2 tenths faster than the whole field.
Putting
and it's a
15 mile an hour on
it's a 32 car field. That's for front wheel drive stick shift cars. If that 32 car field is within 2 or 3 tenths, that's insane.
Yeah.
And like Sport Front, or what is it, Super Street at World Cup Finals, one of the best classes to watch because it's competitive. But if you didn't have somebody knocking those guys down that go 2 tenths faster than the whole class. I was a guy going 2 tenths faster than the whole class at one point.
It's not fun. I don't want to win that way. I never want to win that way. I actually have enjoyed wins as the underdog more than ever being the guy that was supposed to win. And very rarely in drag racing does the guy that's supposed to win.
No, because you have to make it to that.
Yeah, like there's only one way that you can really win a drag race, and there's a million that you can lose it. I always say that, and people don't understand. Like, if you go to a drag race and you look at the ladder, you'll look at the number one qualifier across the board, you're like, oh, that guy's going to win. It hardly ever happens.
No. Yeah, we watched the number one qualifier in X go out in the third round, spun the tire.
I've seen them go out first round. You know what I mean? You could spin the tire, you can red light, you can brake, you can cross the lane, a million things can happen.
Yeah, if you show up at World Cup, forget to put heat in your motor.
Oh my gosh,
you're a cook, dude.
That's a big problem.
We got to start warming our engines up now.
World Cup's always a good one because he's so detailed about the rules, and
that would be the worst.
It's a different sort of race. It's a completely different race than anything else because which makes it everyone over.
The hardest race in the world to do rules for.
Yes,
because he takes cars that run 8th mile all year and puts them in a quarter-mile class. He's got to figure out what that's going to translate to. He takes cars that never race against each other ever except for at his race and makes them race against each other. So, like, the import versus domestic thing, that rule book is insane. And, I mean, it's not always perfect, but it's always very close. But, man, I would hate to be the person that has to come up with that rules package.
Oh, it's completely insane, all of it. Yeah. Like, trying to get in where you fit in and like changing your car and like some nitrous cars trying to run quarter mile, but then suddenly they're just coasting at 1,000 feet and they're still out on everyone and you're like, maybe he wasn't in the right class.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things until you do it, you just don't know. But they stay on top of it. A lot of people would have by now kind of gotten like stagnant and just like kind of let it ride. Dude, for an event that's held one time a year, they put a lot of effort into those rules, and they're watching the racing all year to figure out what to do that one event of the year.
Yep, I think they just made a rule change last week.
Yeah, it's like
nonstop. And we just registered last week or the week before that. For first round of registration. We were talking about World Cup on the way over here. Like, it's a difficult race for racers, but it's one that I'll never miss. It's a hard race for racers for a lot of reasons. Like, it's expensive. It's far away for a lot of the guys.
Almost everyone.
Almost everybody. Yeah. And it's a long race, We showed up on Sunday last year for parking on Tuesday, and we were late.
Yeah.
We were like 4 or 5 rows deep.
The conditions vary so much because it could be warm
I've been there
and
snowing,
cold.
and I've been there in a t-shirt.
And the conditions vary so much because of the tires. Like some classes are all slick, some classes are all radial, some classes are both. So if you're just in the back of the lane, or like you're in the back of the run over, and you got a slick car just tearing the lineup, and you get up there with your radials, like that's a hard race to win.
Yeah.
If you have a cup, there's 99% chance that you busted your ass to win that thing.
Yeah, we tried to put a motor in the car in between rounds.
Yeah.
Right before the semifinal.
Yeah, and as rounds go and go and go, the time in between rounds gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Yeah. Winning a cup is a huge deal, man.
And
amazing
that
race.
Final day is cool because you go to some events and like nothing against it, but like TX2K, like during the finals, there's not like the stands aren't that crowded because normally people come on Saturday and they're not really there Sunday.
Yeah.
Dude, it was dark.
They're there Sunday.
There's people.
I think that's also a Northeast thing.
I'm saying
I think
it was
in the
dark.
Northeast, I think we've talked about this before. In the Northeast, people always. A lot of people work on Saturday, so they show up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Where I feel like in the South, it's not as common because like Saturday is always the biggest day at any of our races. Don't get me wrong, Sundays, we have some strong Sundays, but there are more people on Saturday than there ever are on Sunday. It's just what it is.
That's why even for me, like when I'm not if I'm not racing in an event, I don't show up on Saturday. I show up on Sunday when
but you're
it's
a racer.
Quiet and I get to go cruise the pits in the finals,
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're a racer that understands the difference.
Yes.
But on Sunday morning this year, I looked out the window because this was the first year I stayed at the track. And I looked out the window of the toter in the morning, and it was still dark. Yeah. And you could see people's umbrellas already up. Yeah. They were claiming their spots in the pits. In the stands. Like, it's, like I said, it's one of the hardest events as a racer. I think it cost me like $25,000 last year to go there.
Dude, you wake up and it's like everything has ice on it. It's frozen. The cars don't even want to turn on.
I had to leave it in the trailer.
Yeah, dude, it's
and
nuts.
I had to leave the generator running with the heater on under the hood because I burnt the starter earlier in the week trying to start it because it was cold. But I've also been there when it's 70 degrees. Yeah. It's crazy. You never know.
And it could be the same event.
Yep. It could have been 70 on Wednesday and 40 on Saturday.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.